Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're going to be playing a Boros Moxite. This is a list from Kerblinski, who got 6th in one of the Pauper challenges this last week with the deck. I've played some other versions of this deck on the channel, like Jeskai, but Boros, obviously, fewer colors seems to be the way to go. And obviously the main thing you're doing is casting Melded Moxite, as the name suggests, to discard. Well, what card would we want to discard and then draw 2 immediately afterwards with? It's none other than Sneaky Snacker. So that's the main card we're wanting to discard. We're also playing 2 Prismatic Strands, which are also cards that have flashbacks or are nice cards to discard. And looks like that's about it. So only 6 cards to discard. Definitely a little light, but it's hard to find cards that you actually really want to discard in this type of a deck. We also have a Bitter Reunion, which is just another Moxite. Essentially, it can give haste instead of making a robot, and it's not an artifact, so it can't get picked up with the Glinthawk, but it can still get picked up with your Skyfisher. So only 5 ways to discard the Snackers. I think he mentioned in his report that seemed a little bit low. So honestly, maybe we up that a little bit. I was just going to run his list because obviously it did well enough, but he specifically said that he thought it should use more. So what do we want? We could add some more Bitter Reunions, or I think Voldaren Epicures would be the other main card to put in instead of like some Inspectors maybe. We do also have several burn spells. Oh, probably because of the one Future Sight border for the Pyroblasts. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably something like that messing stuff up. Sometimes I like to run the list of person who did well in a challenge, but I think we'll make a couple minor changes here. I think we'll throw in some Voldaren Epicures. With 7 burn spells, feels like the ping could be pretty relevant. The discard obviously could be nice. And I feel like we're playing enough creatures, although I'm upping that a little bit, that maybe a 1 of Rally the Peasants is another nice card to discard could be kind of sweet. Of course, we got to find some room for these cards. Let's shrink this a little bit because these cards are getting pushed off. I guess if we're doing that, Windscarred Crag, I mean, this is still a more slow mid-rangey deck, so the life gain is probably better than the Abraded Bluffs, honestly, even with the burn stuff we got going on. I think we're going to probably just start cutting things willy-nilly and probably regretting it because it'll be worse. How many artifacts are we playing? Only 4 lands, but obviously all of these. So kind of seems like enough artifacts to make the Galvanic Blasts better than the Lightning Bolts, but I guess we're adding some with the Epicures. I'm kind of just dawdling around here. Let's go for more Galvanic Blasts since we're adding Epicures. Cut a couple bolts here, and who needs any of these cards? I'm never the biggest fan of the main deck relics, honestly, so let's throw in the sideboard instead. Let's take a perfectly good deck that just did well in a challenge and just ruin it. That's kind of my style. So that's 60 and 15. All right, so here we are. I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and we're playing this deck list that's definitely what Kerblinski played in the challenge recently. Moxite, Bitter Reunion, and Voldaren Epicure to discard our Snackers, Prismatic Strands, and Rally the Peasants. We have Skyfisher and Glinthawks to pick up Lembas, Moxite, Bitter Reunion, Inspectors if we want. We got a couple Journey to Nowheres for removal, Thraben Charm, some Galvanic Blasts, and Lightning Bolts. And then in our land base, we have 2 Garrisons, 2 Ancient Den, 2 Great Furnace, a Kabira Crossroads, which I'm always a fan of, and a Radiant Fountain. We have 4 mountains and 4 plains that I'm going to have to change the art for because they always come in janky, and this is of course the perfect start you want to a video. It's exactly how I like to run it. Now we got to get our perfect stained glass Magali arts though. Oh, I already had one in here. I could have just whatever. We got to cut the planes too for the same reason. And this is the kind of behind the scenes you get to see when we're live. All right, there we go. And then we also have 4 Windscarred Crags to gain a little bit more life. So a whole bunch of life gain in the mana base. And then in our sideboard, we got 4 Dust to Dust, another Prismatic, Thraben, Dawnbringer Cleric, 4 Pyroblasts with various arts, 2 Electricaries, Navigator's Compass, and a Relic of Progenitus. So let's take this perfect deck for a league and see how we do. That's a point for Arena. You can just favorite a land art you like. That would be nice. I do really hate that I have to change it every single time on MTGO, but it's hardly the worst thing about MTGO, to be honest. This hand would be really good if we had another land, but we don't. So we're going to get rid of it. And this one, similarly, would be really good if we had another land, but we don't. This is when we got to do the obligatory land check. 20. Hey, this hand would be really good if we had another land. Okay, I guess a keepable hands. We're keeping 4 cards. We will probably want to keep more red. Sure. We'll keep Great Furnace and Lembas Skyfisher. Perfect hands. Exactly what I wanted to start with was these 4 cards and nothing else against Rakdos Madness. Snacker could be okay. I'll probably keep a land here. I would keep a Moxite for sure. We're not going to keep a Galvanic. Journey's probably just worse, but that's okay. Another Barons. Well, we get to pick up our Lembas. Pass the turn. There's a Faithless Looting. Black-Red Madness is so bad at the moment. Why is that? Seems fine to me, but happy to hear your thoughts. We do get a land. That's nice. Lembas. I'm going to keep the land because this ensures that next turn I can go Skyfisher and play the Lembas again. Vampire's Kiss. Kitchen Imp. Coming out. New Dumb Thought. We stay Naya and play Foundry Helix. Sure. It could sack your Moxite. It could sack your Heaped Harvest. That could be cool. Ooh, get a Moxite. I can get Snacker down, and then I could even Journey to Nowhere the Kitchen Imp to ensure it doesn't hit us, maybe. Isn't it good against Mono Red Madness, though? Yeah, I would assume so, because it's very similar, but it gets to play a bunch of life gain, which would make their matchup worse, I would assume. Rakdos is fine. It beats other red decks because of the life gain. Yeah, I don't feel like it's particularly bad at the moment for any reason. Yeah, I'm just going to Journey this Kitchen Imp. The next turn I can Skyfisher the Moxite, get back Snacker. I mean, despite our mulligan, we're not doing too poorly. Obviously, the life gain built into the deck helps that a lot. There's another Kitchen Imp. Or I can sack our Thornscape Familiar in response to removal to it, while still being cost reduced by it. No life gain for that, of course. Because it is a bit of everything and a bit of nothing at the same time. I don't see why playing it again instead of Mono Red Madness or Rally, which are faster and more explosive. It dies from the other red decks because it's too slow to be fair. I don't think that's true. And I feel like the 4 other people mentioning that it's pretty good against other red decks is generally true. I mean, I would concur it's worse than Mono Red Madness, but just because of that doesn't mean it's unplayable or bad or anything, and it does seem fine, and it seems like it would be good. Yeah, maybe it would have trouble with Rally, but it seems good against Mono Red Madness, because they can do a lot of damage, but you can also just gain a lot of life. You can also burn their Gutter Snipes pretty easily. Seems fine to me. I guess we'll swing here. What's good strata? I decided to go for Red Menace for that big paper tournament I mentioned. Ended up taking the whole thing and won a Verdant Catacombs. We'll try out Black Sack for all of December, though, as I acquired the last 2 feeders yesterday. Congratulations, that's absolutely sweet. And yeah, I've heard Mono Red Madness is a pretty good deck. It won another big tournament pretty recently, I believe. And yeah, good luck when you're trying out Black Sack, but yeah, that's great. All right, we get to Snacker here, and we get to Crossroads, back up to 16, unless I get like Glint Hawk untapped White Source, which I could have done. I'm loving the life gain in the mana base. We've already gained 4 life off of that, plus the Lembas can gain us another 3 at some point, keeping us afloat here. Faithless Looting, Kitchen Imp, Fiery Temper. Yeah, it's pretty good. Probably should have left the Sneaky Snacker back, the first one, because now they can kill the Skyfisher and attack with 2 Kitchen Imps. Definitely getting a little greedy there and didn't really need to. It did very poorly at last Geddon. Indeed, Mono Red Madness won last Paupergeddon. I mean, Paupergeddon is a big tournament with a lot of players, but just because a deck does poorly there does not mean it's just bad in the format entirely. It's, you know, even with 1,100 players and stuff like that, it's still a relatively small sample size compared to everyone playing everywhere. So I don't know if that alone means it's super bad or anything. All right, we're just playing Inspector and holding up Strands, Lembas, cracking a Moxite, Clue. Also all those tap lands. Yeah, the tap lands are why I would say it's definitely a worse deck than Mono Red, but the Black Splash can be really nice, for sure. Grab the Prize, Alms of the Vein. Yeah, Alms is life loss, so I can't prevent that. Also, if I try to Strands on black for the Kitchen Imps, then the Snackers don't deal damage. So I probably won't be doing that. I could grab I could Prismatic on red just to prevent 2 grab the prize damage. I think we're just going to crack the Lembas here and take the 2, because I can probably get more damage off the Prismatic later. Buddy lent me a foil Lava Dart that cost more than my entire Madness deck. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Pauper is great because the decks are cheap, and then it's hilarious because then you still have players who want to bling everything out, and then you have your $600 Pauper deck or whatever, and it's quite funny. There's a guy at my local shop who built an entire Pauper deck that is every card has been printed at Rare or Mythic, and so it's like super fancy versions of everything. I believe it's like a blue-red Blitz kind of a deck, or blue-red Delver. So it's like the Delver from the Vault, which is like a Mythic, and Lightning Bolt's been rare at some point, and so it's every single card in the entire deck does not it has either a gold or a red symbol, and it's really funny. All right, we could crack a clue here or crack the Moxite. Either one's pretty sketchy because they could just double bolt us here, but I kind of think we got to make something happen. So I'm going to go for it and hope we don't die when we're tapped out. Skyfisher. I could Moxite the prismatic strands, but I kind of want the strands. I guess I still get to use it once. No, I think I just want to Skyfisher back the Inspector, maybe. Have you seen the last blue-black terror list from Gen Top 8? It has Snackers and the new lesson from Avatar. Very nice. I don't think I saw that one. Snackers are pretty common, I think, in Dimir Terror, but yeah, the new lesson, Abandoned Attachments, I think has been very good. And yeah, just giving blue a Tormenting Voice is very strong, with some upsides. You know, instant speed and May as a discard and stuff like that. Multi-format Superstar Abandoned Attachments. Multi-format? Is it doing stuff elsewhere? Because I didn't know that, but I know it's obviously doing stuff here. They have a Faithless Looting, discard a Snacker, and a Swamp. Highway Robbery. Dimir Terror got a big bump from Abandoned Attachments. Yeah, I just played Dimir Terror a couple weeks ago, but I probably will need to try out a list with attachments. I think it could be really good. Exactly, you don't have to discard as an additional cost, which makes it very good. Yeah, I think in general it's a buff. I will say if you are... Oh, just hardcast Wekdu. This guy's got Flash. What are you doing? In general... Like, sometimes you want to discard the Snacker even if the spell gets countered. Or if you're in Terror, you might want to discard some other spell. But in general, it's definitely a buff that you don't get 2 for 1 from counter spells. Give me something good. That's not the best. It's fine. Kills one guy. I think I'm just going to Moxite this Moxite away. I mean, I play it in my jank standard lessons deck. It's multi-format for me and me alone. Okay, fair enough. That's good enough, I suppose. I guess we'll Glint Hawk back the Moxite here. Attack for a bit. They were drawing really poorly, but they're going to have to keep drawing poorly for a very long time. But we do have some burn. I don't think if we just keep waiting, we're going to be able to survive it forever. So I think send in a little bit. I can still Glint Hawk here. So we still have blockers for everything but one Epicure. We'll probably Strands. So, I mean, we're on the edge for sure. Can't wait to go back to Strixhaven and maybe get more learn cards. Yeah, I'm thinking they'll be pretty good. And it could buff up... Depending on what we get and how good they are, it could make like a full learn lesson board a viable thing in Pauper, which could be cool. It could be bad if they're crazy overpowered. It could be really oppressive, but I think they did a pretty decent job with the lessons in Avatar to be all just kind of mostly base level cards. Like Octopus Form is just a card we've seen before. Shore Up, a lot of them are just cards we've seen before, but then as lessons, and I think that makes it pretty reasonable. All right, we gotta go for this now. If they just have 2 bolts in response, we'll die, but I can't go to 2. Cram Session's pretty sweet. I agree. Big fan. I mean, in the right deck, getting 4 life can be really good if you're... Oh, well, that's annoying. Pachuca Bog right after. I wanted that. I guess we'll flash it back on black as well. All right, Graveyard gone. Radiant Fountain. All right, gain 2. Crack a clue here. Moxite Plains. Glint Hawk, swing for 4. This is as much as I feel comfortable attacking with. But with the Glint Hawk, just like last time, it gives us a blocker for everything except for 1 Epicure. And if they try to clear blockers, we at least have the burn spells to make it so we don't need to take a bunch of damage, ideally. All right, there's another Epicure. Down to 6. Robbery. Discard a Temper. Well, now I have to dodge everything. Where's the Rally? Yeah... That would have been a decent one to get. Blood Tuck away a mountain. Okay. Yeah, Rally the Peasants, if they... There's no way they block with everything. And if just, 2 creatures get through, that'd be pretty decent. They're gonna swing. Alright. So we get a free block here, and everything else is trading. Except I can block the Epicure for another free block. Yeah, and then I'll bolt the Snacker. So we don't die to, a Jagged Barons or something. And then we get to keep 3 of these creatures. Yeah, I mean, Rally the Peasants off the top, which is a 1-of. But if we do get that, that's just game. I'm assuming I'm not dead here unless they're slow rolling us with a bolt. Block, 7, 15. So, yeah. If I top deck it, I could win by a mile. But even if I just have to Moxite for it, can only cast it once. That should still give it to me. Hi, everybody. How's it going with this list? Well, we just started the league, so this is game 1. It's going okay. We're trying to survive against Rakdos Menace here, but yeah, not too bad. We did just finish up a league with Jeskai, playing this kind of a deck with Jeskai, and it was okay. It didn't go quite as well. I guess we discard the Moxite. Bolt. That's not quite going to do it. So we're getting in for 9. Put them to 9. We have 7 damage. I could crack an Inspector, or I could crack a Clue, but we're not going to be able to draw a Prismatic Strands that could be cast, or a Rally or anything, so we're not quite going to get there. So we have to dodge another turn. They have no Faithless Lootings in the grave, though. Well, here's hoping. We didn't play a land this turn, did we? No. So I could draw Windscarred Crag if I crack this, which could gain us 1 life, which could put us out of bolt range. So I think I should. Oh, gain a life. Hold. I don't think this Inspector is going to make that big of a difference, so I'm going to hold up both of these on the off chance they get, like, Faithless into 2 more Kitchen Imps or something. Grab the prize. Is there a top deck? Come on, dude. I mean, Snackers come back. That doesn't matter. But if they just drew a bolt, well, that's disappointing. I mean, I was pretty happy with that Windscarred Crag, the play to draw that, but did not end up working out. Well, we get these 4. Graveyard Hate, Life Gain, Life Prevention, or Damage Prevention, Life Gain. Relic's good, actually. Journey's not super necessary. Oh yeah, they had a Kitchen Imp under a Journey, so they couldn't have had 2. Whatever. I think we're just cutting Inspectors. Like, they don't do a ton. I'd rather the Epicures to discard to the Snacker. I also want to keep all our removal for their all of our damage removal for their creatures, but also to burn them out so we can maybe, like, be faster than them or something. But that was a frustrating end. Yeah, a bit unfortunate for sure. They just top decked the grab the prize, and then from there drawing 2. Their chances of hitting something that deals us 2 damage are pretty high, but bit unfortunate for sure. I will say, because I know some people weren't there at the beginning of that game, that was a Multa 4. After I got 3 1-landers in a row, we ended up getting there with a Multa 4. Well, we ended up almost getting there with a Multa 4. You know, I'm still pretty happy with the outcome based on that context, but obviously winning would have been a lot nicer. Double Glint Hawk. All right, then I'm going to play one of these. We're probably going to want to gain some extra life with the Compass at some point anyway. This can also, if they don't play a creature, can apply a little bit of pressure, or can trade with a Kitchen Imp if they get that out. And I already have a lot of value here. I don't necessarily need both of these Glint Hawks to be dedicated to, like, picking up a Moxite, so I think that's okay. But if I didn't draw the second one, I probably wouldn't have, because I think having one of them for these is pretty good. Craig's good too. We'll attack for 2. Of course, they could get a Haster, but that's, you know. Strands is really good in this matchup, so I don't really want to discard it to a Moxite. So I think I'm just going to Lembas Glint Hawk here. If I can find like a Snacker for the Moxite, that could be good. I don't necessarily need another land, but a life is decent. We have a good amount of value. I think I'll put it away for now. Yeah, we still draw land. Yeah, honestly, we could also just end up being like beat down if all they have is burn. And either that means that they have to race us, or they have to send some burn at our Glint Hawks, which would obviously be fine too. I assume they have something here, but I guess not. Okay. I mean, that means they probably don't have Grab the Prize. They don't have Highway Robbery. What is their hand? Just all Madness spells? No outlets, maybe? Maybe Faithless Looting, and they're trying to wait to get full value out of it. Plot a Highway Robbery. Okay. Yeah, definitely glad we got rid of that land. This is getting to be a lot. I'm going to start with a Lembas, because if I can find a Snacker, we can get that on the field with the Moxite. If not, I'm happy to pitch one of these lands to it. Okay, I'm going to keep a Skyfisher for sure. In fact, I think we are just beat down, so let's just cast the Skyfisher. With the Prismatic Strands, like, even if they do get close to burning us out, we can survive with that. Like, this is a pretty aggressive start from us. Turns 2, 3, and 4, play a 2-power creature. All right, they start with the Robbery, pitch a Temper. Yeah, I kind of assume they'll go after our creatures because they kind of have to, but again, that's not the end of the world. I would love to have Snackers, so it'd be harder for them to go after our creatures effectively. And they got a Looting. Discard double Snacker. Well, now I would love to find a Relic or a Thraben Charm. Please. Carnarium picks up Barrens. No, they just go for the Swamp. All right, tapped out. We're drawing so many lands. Let's go for a Lembas. Another Strands. That's pretty good. I really feel like I need or want a Relic or a Thraben Charm. I do get to hit them down to 10 here. I think I need something else. I need some more value. I need more lands, apparently. All right, let's play Moxite. Pitch. Ancient Den. Finally find the Snacker. Now that I use the Moxite, okay. Guess we have an Epicure, so that's something. All right, we are being the beatdown. They're at 9. That's pretty good. Which means if we can just find some burn spells, which we haven't used any, we could maybe finish them off pretty quick here. Grab the Prize, discards a Looting, gets back your Snackers. Cast Faithless Looting from hand. Discard Snacker Swamp. They have nothing to Madness? That's crazy. I initially thought that their hand was probably all Madness spells because they weren't casting anything for like the first 2 turns. Now they have no Madness. Cast into the Fire on the Lembas. Sure. Okay. I mean, they're just dead to a Galvanic Blast, so I guess we start by looking for that. Let's go for Skyfisher. Picks up Moxite, and then I guess this, if I just tap this, then I'm out of white mana. I should have, my tapping here is a little weird, but it's okay. Snacker. Find Thraben Charm. Well, I did tap weird, so now I can't even hold up the Thraben Charm. They have a Snacker, 3 Faithlesses in the graveyard. I kind of feel like just blowing up their graveyard is pretty good. And I have to now because of my awkward tapping. But it's still not the end of the world. I mean, I might want to do it before they can flashback a Faithless Looting anyway. We also just get to put them to 4. I don't really know what they've done this game, but yeah, they're at 4. I cannot see us dying on this turn. And next turn we get to all the Prismatic Strands. We get to attack with everything. We have a Compass. And if we find a Galvanic Blast at any point, they just lose, unless they can, gain a little bit of life with a Alms of the Vein or something, which is possible. There's a Kitchen Imp. Nuke 'em. Yeah, indeed. All right, what else you got? Hardcast Fiery Temper on the Skyfisher. Okay, I think we're doing okay. All right. Let's just not slow roll them. We drew the Galvanic Blast. And I did a quick count of Metalcraft to make sure, because sometimes I miss that. But, alright, really close first game off a Mold of 4. Got there in game 2. Let's try to get there in game 3. On the draw, always a little harder. Turn 2 Moxite Snacker looks pretty good. Yeah, this one seems good enough. They have a Razor Trap Gorge. Alright, getting a little flooded with these cards, I will admit. If we keep drawing Snackers, it'll be totally fine, but with the Glint Hawk, we have 4 discard and draw 2 effects. Plot of Robbery, there's a Blast. Moxite Snacker, hey, there's the next Snacker. So I'll probably swing for 2, unless they have a Kitchen Imp or something. And then Moxite Snacker and play a Garrison, so I can have 4 mana the following turn. They do have a Kitchen Imp. Alright, swing for 2. Epicure, and they do have a Carnarium, okay. Okay, I might just want to do Mountain then, so I can do Moxite Galvanic Blast on the Kitchen Imp. I still want to leave the Snacker back for this Epicure, so let's do this. Radiant Fountain, okay. We have 6 pieces of life in hand. That's decent. Cast in the Fire on them both. I mean, they'll both be back. That is a little annoying, unless they have a relic or something here, which would be quite the pain. Gonna take out the Kitchen Imp though, so we reduce our damage a little bit. We're gonna probably play Glint Hawk Lembus. No, probably Glint Hawk Moxite this next turn. Empire's Kiss. Crossroads, perfect. Yeah, so we're gonna Glint Hawk Moxite. I guess we're gonna ditch this Crag, because these both gain 2 life, and this gains 2 life when we pick up one of these, so this is only 1 life. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that, and I want these in case we get flooded with other stuff. Compass is nice. Yeah, okay, we have a ton of life gain here. I think we should be okay. We're at 16, but we have another 5 coming next turn, and another 5 on layaway for the future. Grab the Prize Alms is pretty nice. They discard a Snacker to a Blood. They've already drawn their 3rd card, though, so not coming back this turn. We can also potentially turn around and start trying to beat them down with 3 flyers here. More life gain. We're definitely playing this, because I'm getting a little nervous. Playing this. Don't need more lands, thank you. Okay, I guess we will anyway. Yeah, I'm going to play the Compass, hold up Galvanic Blast, and Lembus. The question is, do I want to leave back an attacker or a creature for the Epicure? It's only 1 damage, but it is a free damage that I could block. We're at 16. I'm going to hope that we're high enough life total to not die, and that the 1 damage won't be super relevant, and I think getting in for 2 is pretty important. Because if we get in for 4, it's like a 7-turn clock, which is rough. If we get in for 6, it's like a 5-turn clock. Okay, Cast in the Fire, as always, is annoying, but we can get those both back with the same 1 card, unless... No, don't do it. Dang. Well, that's pretty unfortunate. That is really rude. And frankly, not fair. Gotta call a judge on them. Alright, we're gonna end up Galvanic Blasting the Kitchen Imp. Currently, there's no hope. There's no plan to burn them out. It's less mana efficient than just cracking the Lembus, but it's more life efficient, which is the priority at the moment, so... No, there's the rally after we lost our whole board. Actually, that's not the worst. That's not the worst, actually. Because I can make 2 robots here. And then next turn, this would pump it so I'd hit for 18 off 3 robots. Well, 2 robots and a Glint Hawk. They're not going to kill me from 15, are they? Hope not. I think we're just going for the Moxite play. I mean, if they have any way to gain life, this isn't quite going to be lethal, but still, it's quite a bit of damage. For example, there's some life gain right there. I think it's still probably right to make the robots regardless because they block the Epicure and in general just put a little pressure on them. I could have gone for the Bitter Reunion. The Bitter Reunion, I suppose, to try to draw something. And actually I did have to play a basic as opposed to playing my Garrison to get the Fountain next turn. That could be a bit unfortunate. Because now I have the choice, like I could gain 1 life next turn with the Crag, or I could gain no life with the Garrison, but then the following turn I get to gain 2 life. And the Rally is no longer lethal. It's still going to be good and potentially could be lethal the following turn. Plot a highway robbery. Interesting they don't want to cast it when they could get a snacker back. But obviously if they have nothing to Madness, maybe that's why. Alright, double Moxite crack. Another Garrison. We're not just double casting Rally because it does not make sense. So another Garrison. I'm not going to get around to playing 2 Garrisons, I don't think. And I still might want to play the Crag, so I'm just going to reunion one of them away. Like, I already have 3 land drops in hand. Perfect. Okay, I actually just want to pick up the Compass so that I'm not done. Because if I can just survive here, I can win. So I'm going to play Glint Hawk to pick up the Compass because that leaves me 2 mana to crack the Limbus. And I really don't need card advantage at this point. I just need... Oh, well. That is annoying. They've drawn so many Casted the Fires. They've all been really, really annoying. Okay. I guess I'm picking up the Lembas then. They have a Robbery in exile. So I could cast Lembas, or I could just play another Skyfisher. Well, a Skyfisher picking up the Reunion. Unless I get an untapped land with the Lembas, which I don't really want to play anyway, I'm not going to be able to crack it. I think I just want more creatures, so this Rally is super lethal next turn. Actually, wait. If it's super lethal next turn, which it is, because 3 of these would be 18, then all I need to do is survive this 1 turn. So I should just pick up whatever's going to give me the most life, which is this Radiant Fountain, because I don't need anything else. And then I might as well play this Lembas. Okay, we're at 13. They do have a highway robbery, though. We could definitely die. If we don't die... Oh my god, grab the prize fiery. So we're at 8. They only have 3 mana left, though. Maybe 4. They're not going to see the Rally coming, though. Highway robbery. Discards a snacker. That's fine. Grab the prize. Alms of the Vein puts us to 3. If they have an untapped land and a bolt, then we will die. There's a mountain. Epicure. That's not lethal. All right. Wait. If they block... Okay, even if they just don't block the flyers, they're dead. Okay, well, we're going to swing. We're going to cast Rally twice and deal them 30 damage, I guess. All right, we got there. Oh my gosh, that was so close. We were at 13, they dealt 11, and if they had the bolt, they would have killed us. The Rally, the one of Rally, ended up being really good. This would have been, I don't remember what we cut for it. A Journey to Nowhere or something. All right, well, let's go again. Yeah, we got him. Whew, very, very close. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right. On the play here, no lands, 3 lands, sure. I think with the Garrison, we can maybe put back one of these. And we'll see how Relic does on turn 1. Could be good if we're against Terror. They'll probably be... Ooh, that's a good draw too. They'll be real upset if they queue into someone who just turn 1's, game 1's Relic. Gotta put them on that tilt right away. Get rid of that Lorien. Alright, maybe I'm coming around to the main deck Relic. Obviously it's good against some matchups, but it's irrelevant against a lot of others. Abandoned Attachments. Well, if they just get a snacker down here, that's really annoying, seeing as we have a Relic to stop this. So I assume it could be mono blue Terror. Kind of assume it's Dimir Terror then. I could Galvanic Blast it. Don't think that makes a ton of sense yet. Nothing to pick up. I think I'm just cracking this clue and playing an Epicure. Strands. Oh, I guess we tapped out a Relic again, so if they have another snacker, they can just get it. Yeah, Delver of Secrets. So yeah, I'm thinking mono blue. They're just playing the snackers as well, which is going to make it harder for the Delvers to flip, but could be worth. There's a land drop. Swing for 2. Excuse me. Swing for 2. I could just hold the Prismatic Strands for blue to gain 5 life here. Also lets us hold up the Relic if there's another snacker. Flips Delver on a foil. Okay. That's a counterspell. Yeah, I'm just going to cast this. Use up our mana. If they want to counter it, that's fine. Obviously putting it into our graveyard with a Relic on board that I might want to crack is a little awkward. And if they do just go for another snacker with Abandoned Attachments, it could be a mistake. They brainstorm. Delver. So Delver's going to flip for sure because they brainstormed. Snacker. I probably want to leave back Inspector for the Prismatic because I want to use that sooner rather than later. We've also got Glint Hawk, which we play as just a blocker. And a Journey to Nowhere. Ugh. Just a lot of kind of awkward stuff to play. Yeah, I guess we'll start with the Journey. Just try to take out an Aberration. I mean, I kind of wanted to hold this for a Terror, but that is not currently what we're dealing with. So swing. I could Blood Token the Snacker into our yard, but we have no way to make sure we can actually get it out. And if we do that and then have to crack our relic, it's just really awkward. I guess our relic mostly has their terrors covered, so I'm going to just Glint Hawk, pick up an Ancient Den if it resolves as a blocker. Foil, pitching an island, and a Sleep of the Dead. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. Seems pretty aggressive. But I guess if their whole game plan is the Delver and the Snacker, they got to do what they can to protect them. Flip off another foil. We're going to flash this back. Prevent damage from blue sources. They're going to Brainstorm. There's a lot of cards that are not super common here. Obviously, Abandoned Attachments is a new card. They're trying it out with the Snacker. Foil is interesting. I'm almost thinking this is just like mono blue Delver, and maybe they're not playing Terrors at all. That could be crazy, but there's a lot of innovation, interesting cards going on, and adding Snackers reduces the chance your Delvers are flipping, which is a big cost, so you can't just willy-nilly throw a whole bunch more creatures into the deck without it ceasing to function a little bit. But if they reduce the creature count in other ways, and like these are their main 8 creatures, or maybe they're also playing a couple Mystics or something, then it could be something, I don't know. While that resolves, I'm not going to blood token the Snacker. They did use the Brainstorm, actually, so now if they want to foil, they could just have a counterspell, but if they want to foil the Galvanic Blast, they'd have to pitch cards again. So I'll try to kill the Aberration. Nice, that works. Novice Inspector is kind of cool. If this resolves, which I assume it will, then I get to blood token the Snacker and then crack the Clue, and this is going to allow my relic, well, it's going to allow me to get my Snacker down and not have to worry about it sticking around there for the relic. Oh, we just top deck the Moxite afterwards. Perfect. Of course, without a land, I can't hold up relic to crack, but I'm not really worried about them sleeping the dead here. If they do get like a 4-mana terror down and I was, they are playing them, then, they good for them. Deep Analysis. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just going to swing. If they want to block with the Snacker, then I can pop the relic, get a ton of value. If they block our Snacker, then I'll Moxite it back first. And if they want to foil this, so be it. They lose a whole bunch of cards for it. And a Thraben Charm. Oh, Brainstorm. That's so funny. They're brainstorming here while ours is still in our graveyard so that they can get theirs back. And if I want to pop the relic, I have to get rid of mine. But because they allowed us to draw the cards, which, as I was saying earlier, you should have, because then my trigger goes on the stack and I can't respond to it. But now I've drawn the Thraben Charm, so I can actually blow up their graveyard and keep my relic around, which is just going to be brutal for them. So I'm going to let them do this Brainstorm, and then I'm going to Thraben Charm and just keep Relic. So this is really funny. I've got an initial draft for this Naya deck. Do you want to have a look between games? No sideboard, no testing, of course. Sure. You can send the link, and when I get a chance, I'll take a look. They could foil this if they really want, and honestly, maybe not the worst thing, because there is a Deep Analysis, and a Sleep of the Dead in there. Still really funny how that worked out, but I wish I had a mana to then pop the Relic, because I still would like to get rid of this Deep Analysis and Sleep of the Dead, but alright, we both get our Snackers back. I still think we're in a better position than they are, but pretty funny stack there, I will admit. Thought Scour. Oh, with Thought Scour, I guess Thought Scour is nice with Brainstorm and Snackers anyway, but again, they could be playing Terrors, and maybe they cut the Cryptic Serpents for the Snackers or something like that. I don't know for sure. We're definitely going to be popping this Relic on our turn, so they're going to try to get the Snacker out of there, which I guess it will with this Ponder. They're going to try to cast the Deep Analysis and probably, well, the Sleep's going to be gone, but I guess Deep Analysis puts them pretty low. They do have a Terror. Okay, down to 7. Alright, let's attack with our Snacker. This time, I guess if they got another Brainstorm, they can do the tricky thing again. I assume they'll block. I got a Moxite to bring it back, but if they have another Brainstorm, they can do that. And if not, I will then be Relicking their graveyard away. Okay, because I don't want them to have the Sleep of the Dead or cast any more Terrors, which since they obviously are around. We'll get a Skyfisher picking up a Moxite too. Alright, they concede, able to take that one down. So here's the Nine Familiars deck that Enleave has been talking about. So Thornscape, Goblin and Archomancer is the main idea of the deck. Crimson Fleet, Avenging Hunter, Ardent Elementalist, Cleansing Wildfire, basics would be whatever. Splash in the white. Splashing partially for the bridge, so you can have enough for the Wildfire. Heaped Harvest, Moxite. Okay, I feel like you're missing something that actually makes you want to, something you actually want to discard with the Moxite. I see one Strands, but and same with the Demand Answers. I know that this can sack your artifacts, which could be cool with Heaped Harvest, but there's no cards you're particularly wanting to discard, which could be just a pain if you have to discard real cards every time. And turn up to one target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, discover 4. This just seems very expensive for what it does, but overall, it seems like a cool idea. What are we against? Terror. So we get another Relic, Pyroblasts, Prismatic Strands, Thraben Charm. It's true it could be Revolutionist. Revolutionist is really expensive to Madness is the problem. You're happy to discard that, but then I understand you're trying to reduce the costs, which would be cool, because then for 4 mana you could do it, but if you don't have a cost reducer, you're paying 2 mana for your Moxite, 4 mana for the Revolutionist. So you have nothing you really want to discard. I'm not exactly sure what you'd want to go in there. I think one of the hardest parts about these Moxite decks that we've been playing is that there's not anything great to discard. Of course, except for Snacker, of course. I mean, you could put Snacker in your deck. You have 8 ways to discard it. But I understand wanting to stray away from that and do something different. But yeah, you got to have something that actually makes you want to discard those, I think. All right, we get to cut some stuff here. Bolts are not great. They just don't kill. Well, I guess with Snackers and Delvers, they're better. They don't kill terrors, and obviously we're getting Pyroblasts for that. Prismatics are really good against them. If we're cutting this many discard outlets, maybe cut a Snacker. Snacker's really good against them, but obviously we got to have ways to discard it. Well, we took too long. That's fair. We didn't need a sideboard anyway. We'll be okay. Whoever wanted to sideboard. Oh, look, we got all the perfect cards we wanted anyway. Unfortunately, we got only 1 land, but we're on the draw with an Epicure and an Inspector. You know what? Let's keep a bad hand. Play risky. Moxite? How could this possibly go poorly for us? They got the attachments with the Snacker. Oh, it's so good. Hey, look. Land. Easy. Easy peasy. Man, Snacker is crazy. What a card, am I right? We gotta draw a bunch here to hit more land drops. We find the Snacker. Did not find a land. Might be fine with discarding real cards, not sure. In the right situation, you might, right? Like if I had a Moxite, if I had to cast another Moxite here, I don't really care that much about discarding an Inspector or an Epicure, but I'd much rather discard a Snacker. And so I think perfect. Yeah. I think you're going to find that you want to have something you actually want to discard. That's my experience with the Moxite decks thus far, at least. Snacker going to be in every deck soon enough? Yeah. I mean, before Abandoned Attachments, it was like, well, it's cool, but it's only in red decks. You know, you have to be playing the red things to get it going. They're just going to counter this Moxite. I don't really want them to counter this Moxite. So instead, I'm going to cast some other stuff. But yeah, it was only in red decks, so it's like, yeah, it's fine. But now it's in blue decks. I mean, I'm pretty sure if every single color had a Tormenting Voice, Snacker would be in every single deck. Or rather, there would be a deck in every color with Snacker, because it's just so good. So before Abandoned Attachments, I had said, and I said a few times, that I think Refurbished Familiar, as much as I love it, probably the most busted creature in the format, but they're about to get another Snacker on my turn with this Thought Tower. I think Snacker might be getting up there as the most busted creature in the format. This card is nutty. Swing. I mean, I guess I'm blocking, and sure, I'll cast Prismatic Strands. If they counter it, that's really not a big deal. Trade for the Snacker. If they don't bring it back right away, then I can maybe make something work with like a Thraben Charm to get rid of them. But yeah, like you shouldn't be able to play a black-blue card in a red-white deck. Yeah? What do you mean? Yeah, it's a little funny for sure. I'm gonna hope they don't have 2 counter spells, I guess. I'm gonna Moxite. I assume they'll counter this, and then I'll Thraben Charm their graveyard. Or a Naya deck in my case. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, that worked. I guess we're just gonna leave up mana. I can crack a clue or whatever. But if they try to get it back again with like attachments or Brainstorm, I could Thraben Charm it away. Glowlorian. On top. But yeah, I cannot really think of anything I would like to discard. Yeah, I understand. Right, there's a Terror. That's why I wanted to exile this graveyard before. Well, I guess we'll try to exile it now. I assume it'll get countered or something. Thraben and Upkeep. Yeah, I kind of blanked. But you're correct. That would have been the correct play. Sure, they're just gonna get... Yeah, this attachment's being instant speed too. Can do this. Discard a Deep Analysis. Well, that's gonna go. Oh, they also have the Spell Pierce. Perfect. Because they drew it off the draw too. Well, that's pretty good. Let's see. Did they play an island? Yes, they did. They could still have a foil up as their last 3 cards. I guess I'm Sky Fishing back an Epicure and Glint Hawking back the Moxite. Or I could just replay the Moxite this turn. Discard the Crag. Yeah, I guess maybe that's better. Although we kind of want to hit a land drop, but oh, if they just have a Spell Pierce, so be it. Or a Red Blast. Blue Blast, that's the one. Nice. We'll pass to them. Wandering Champion. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, if you control a blue or red permanent, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. You saying use that with Snacker? That's kind of funny. Sleep of the Dead. Reckless Worm, but then this seems like a different deck. Yeah, I would agree, potentially. I'm not exactly sure what the answer is as far as what you want to discard. I just know that it feels bad to discard a real card with no benefit to a discard and draw to. I guess you have to have red or blue, doesn't quite work. Well, if you're playing like a Boros Bully deck, then you're gonna have red permanents, and then also if you have a Snacker on the field, you have a blue permanent. So it could be something. I don't have an artifact I want to bounce. That's annoying. because they countered Moxite. This is why I maybe should have played the Glint Hawk to pick up the Moxites, and then the Skyfisher could have done something else. Spectre. Thinking if we can jam Snacker into a mono white deck. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's tough. Unless you're going to do like mono white as in like hybrid. If you have a bunch of other hybrid like white blue or white red cards, which could work, could be kind of cool. I guess I'm going to get rid of this Glint Hawk. I kind of want to keep the burn for a potential burn win, because I think that might be one of the ways we get there. Then again, I only have one artifact left, but I wanted to get this Snacker back. I didn't realize I'd drawn another card this turn, so I was going to crack this clue. Oh, I already cracked a clue, didn't? Well, yeah, Snacker's back. I guess Journey's good next turn for the Terror attack. We're taking 7. That's kind of a lot, especially when they have a Sleep of the Dead, Flashback, Deep Analysis. Union to the third path plus some cantrip equals mono white snack. Yeah, I mean, you have to get Snacker into the bin first. And Union's an expensive one, too. There's plenty of, like, other white cantrips you could do, but, like, that's kind of an expensive one to pair up with another cantrip. Alright, well, we have no artifacts. Admittedly, I just cracked a bunch of clues in blood, but I think we kind of needed to. Here's a Journey, which gets annulled. I believe we are going to die. They're going to Sleep the Dead, that guy. Swing with the crew. If I had artifacts, I could Galvanic Blast. In general, we've been fine with our Galvanic Blast, or Metalcraft count, but this time, if I had Metalcraft, I could at least blast this and threaten to kill it. And we are dead. Alright. I did make the blunder with the Thraben Charm, but I think... Oh, well, we also made the blunder with the not sideboarding. Because we took too long. So let's actually sideboard this time. Maybe that'll help a little bit. That's why we had all these useless Galvanic Blasts and Bolts. I knew there was a reason. Sure. Again, I think it's something better than Revolutionist. Regardless if I'm casting Moxite for red, I may be fine discarding a real card. Sure, definitely could be. Snacker's slowly becoming a new Deadly Dispute. Yeah. I mean, you have to build your deck around it a little bit more than Deadly Dispute, so... But yes, it's quickly becoming very, very ubiquitous for sure. Sand is awkward. Relic is good, but everything else just doesn't do anything. So I'm going to get rid of it. This one is fine. I think I'm going to keep Journeys over that. I don't know. Start with the Inspector. Assuming I have a single cost reducer, Moxite into Menace Revolutionist is, yeah, 4 mana. Indeed. It's unlikely to use all my mana that turn because of the sequencing involved. Early turns are reducers and Heaped Harvest. Yeah, I say give it a try and see how it plays. I definitely could be off on some of that. They got a Brainstorm. Pass the turn. We're going to crack a clue. When we crack a clue, they could go for an Abandoned Attachments. It's still their turn, so they could draw their third card and get the Snacker down. They don't, but, you know, if they thought I was holding up a Thraben Charm, that's pretty good that it's instant speed. Alright, I could Moxite. It just gets countered, so that doesn't seem great. Maybe we can get like a... I'm not even getting a Snacker if it does resolve, so I think we'll just pass. Thought Scour. It's a Thought Scour and an island. Ponder. That's what I was going for with the Discover Recursion spell. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't mind Recursion for sure. Pulse is great. Revive the Shire is decent, but I just think 5 mana for that effect is a lot. Well, if they do get Terrors down, we at least have some Journeys to fight them, but we do not have a lot else going on, I will say. Cycle of Lorians, that's 5. Abandoned Attachments. Is Pulse anti-Snacker tech? I mean... You can target a Snacker and put it back in their hand. So yes, technically, but you're spending a full card to gain 6 life and draw them a card, essentially, which obviously, they want the card in the graveyard. It can hold it off for a turn, and if they can't find another way to discard it, it could be decent. But, like, people will use Pulse against a Lotleth Giant, because then your opponent loses the game. But I think using it on... Snacker's pretty low impact. Yeah, they just discard it again. Funny though, it is funny. And if it's like super important that resolves for you on a specific turn, then it could absolutely be worth. Just not a play you're gonna make every time you see it. Probably I could Moxite, but then they just counter it. I mean, we've drawn 4 lands, 2 spells. Not great. They have plenty of spells for terrors. They got to Sleep of the Dead in the grave too. Cycle another Lorien. As with everything in the deck, Pulse for 2 probably feels great. Revive the Shire for 1 mana. Yeah, I think that some value familiars is probably an underlooked area, and so yeah, I think that sounds pretty sweet. They have 4 mana here. If they only had 2, I might go for a Moxite because if they countered, I'd blow up their graveyard, but they can definitely counter both. They have another Attachments. Discards an island. Possible I should go for the upkeep Thraben Charm there, but honestly, since we have like a Journey to Nowhere on the Terror, it's less important. I'm going to go for it now because they're probably going to counter this, but then I can resolve either a Moxite or a Journey is the goal. Obviously, they could have counterspell, foil, or they could have counterspell, annul, hydroblast, or whatever. They let that go. Okay. I guess if now all their energy is going to go into protecting the terror, I could see that. There's a Moxite, Steel Sabotage. Journey to Nowhere. The good thing is they have to counter this before it resolves, so I don't have to pay the ward, but since I played the Moxite, I don't actually have the mana to cast this and go for the ward anyway. But next turn, Annul and Sabotage, pretty good. How rude. I agree. I wish they would just let my spells resolve. It doesn't seem like it would be that problematic. Another attachments. Oh, I will say, every single opponent I've seen playing attachments, pretty sure they get to glitch and like put 8 of them in their deck, because they always draw like all 3 or 4 of them in the first half of their deck, which just does not seem fair to me. See nothing wrong with it? Yeah, you wouldn't. Another Annul. Another Thraben Charm. Yeah, we've just drawn so many lands. I think 5 lands, hit 7 spells. We kept 3, so I guess about even, but obviously we have fewer lands than spells in the deck. Another Terror. Epicure can draw us a new card, I suppose. Pyroblast. That's super late, but I guess I can Thraben Charm down a Terror. If they counter it, I have a Pyroblast. We're going for it now, so they hopefully only have 1 counter spell and not 2. Well, there's the Spell Pierce. Well, bummer. Looks like we're going to be dying to Terror. What a good deck. Cast a Deep Analysis. I guess we can survive. So let's try. I pulled 2 cards out of their hand. Yeah, that's exactly what the goal was. Flashback Deep Analysis. They're at 6. If we could just get some card draw into some burn, maybe we could survive. Gotta cast the Strands. If they have double counterspell for this, I'll die. Doesn't matter if I blocked first, because I'm dead to just 1 other terror anyway. Oh look, what a great draw. Put them to 5. If they have like a bounce spell or something for this Inspector, then I won't be able to cast the Strands, which I guess I should cast in their upkeep, shouldn't I? I don't think it's gonna matter. Probably. But if they don't have a counter spell, then we could get them here. And they did. Bummer. Alright, round 3 here. We have a pretty decent hand. Go ahead and keep it. Opponent mulls to 6. We go up to 21. Land grant, so we're against Spy. Masked Vandal is going to be annoying. And they cast the Wildling. Okay, so Winding Way, Lead the Stampede, Priest, Masked Vandal. I guess Prismatic Strands is pretty good in this matchup, because we can just prevent the damage from their Giant. I mean, they might have, like, Flaring Pain in the sideboard, but they're not going to have that in the main deck, probably. So if we just have a white creature, we should be able to not die to the combo. Unless they have Graveyard Hate in their main deck, which would also be surprising. I'm gonna... Oh, well, if I Galvanic Blast the Priest, they can Masked Vandal something. But I can Garrison back the Ancient Den, so they can't kill that. And then if they want to take the Moxite, that's fine, because I have other things. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that, then. This also gives us the Strands. Avenging Hunter finds a basic to discard to Moxite. Yeah. After turn 4 or 5. If you have a Moxite on turn 2, you might not have that, but that is possible. They Winding Way hit another Forest, so that's 4 forests already. Is that all of them? Probably. We have a Snacker, so I can Bitter Reunion, get the Snacker back. Plains, swing for 1, and we can Skyfisher back the Moxite, I guess. Turn 2 Moxite seems like it's not a good idea when there's Wildfire Familiar. Yes, but you're making the assumption that you're going to have the perfect hand every single time, which sometimes you're just not, and Moxite's going to be the 2-drop that you have in your opener, and then you're not going to have anything that you love putting in your graveyard, is all I'm trying to say. I recognize this Elves list. Yeah? What's this Elves list that you recognize? This is kind of different than other Elves lists. Okay. There's the Vandal. Takes out Clue or Bitter Reunion. Either one's not a big deal. Reunion's just worse Moxite. We're not really using the haste too often, so that's tough. I should post it after the match. Yeah, you can wait till after the match. That's fine. I did play against some Elves list that looked very similar to this the other day with like Arbor Elves and Spy and stuff. But I certainly don't know all the intricacies of it. If I can't get removal for the Priest, they're going to gain a bajillion mana, which is pretty bad. Oh, it's the Giorgio list? Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't seen his exact list, but I believe it would be spicy then. Moxite, I think we'll just pitch this Epicure. There's a Bolt. Okay, that's good. Bolt the Priest. Because that Priest represented 15 mana, which even without comboing is just going to kill us with like Lead the Stampede and Winding Way. Okay, my cat is making a lot of noise. I just want to kill them as fast as possible probably, so I could just Glint Hawk back the Moxite. I think that's probably best. His goal was to shore up against red matchups. Gotcha. Another Priest, okay. Another Vandal as well. Stop, please. Okay, they take out the Ancient Den. Is there a specific reason for the Arbor Elf over just like Llanowar Elves or whatever? Because I was wondering about that the other day, and obviously if they Utopia Sprawl or Wild Growth, that would be a reason, but I assume they're not there because of the draw spells and I just haven't seen them. Lead the Stampede. You won't see a game 1? Sure. I gotcha. So I assume a 2-color land that's a forest or something, so it could tap for like blue or something as well. That's my assumption anyway. Arbor makes sense here. Yeah, I mean, I assume in general that if it's in a list, there's a reason, especially if it's, I know Giorgio Combo is very skilled pilot. I don't expect he's throwing it in there for no reason. And if he said it was supposed to be better against red matches, I assume there's like Hydroblasts or something in the sideboard or something. I don't know. Let's see. We can play this Moxite. All right. Discard Olympus here. Galvanic Blast. Okay. I could kill another priest. Or I could save this and kill them next turn with a bunch of flyers. But Avenging Hunter, Generous Ant, this making 18 mana, seems kind of bad. So I do think I'm going to just kill that. And yeah, I probably want to just get the Glinthawk down. Again, it's mana inefficient, but they might play a Generous Ant here, in which case I'd want the extra damage. Or, yeah, because they have, what, 5 mana? But they have a forest in hand, so 6 mana. Yeah. Llanowar Elves. Another Masked Vandal. Takes out an Ancient Den, I assume. Masked Vandals luckily haven't been super incredibly punishing or anything this game. It's just been a little bit of a nuisance with us being a little behind on mana, but I think it's okay. We're doing fine. Let's swing for 8. Put him to 1. Moxite. See if we can find a burn spell. Just gonna Moxite again. Crag. Sure. Play that. Pass the turn. Alright, so we got that game. Yeah, Prismatic Strands, I assume, was very good there. Not 100% sure. Relic, I mean, we didn't see a spy, but I'm very confident that they're spy based on everything else they're playing. Most spy decks do include like a Flaring Pain in the sideboard, so is Prismatic Strands even worth keeping in, though? Not 100% sure. Ooh, Electrickery is insane, seeing as they're elves and not like walls. Ribbon Charm's good too. Don't need a rally. We can cut the cures. We're not going to cut any removal because they're a very heavy creature deck. So I think we're just cutting a bunch of these guys that don't do a lot. I mean, Strands is, if they pivot to mid-range, it's also not bad there. But if they just have a Flaring Pain, it's useless for their main game plan. I don't know. We'll keep them in. If we see a Flaring Pain game too, we'll take them out, obviously. They have to be able to make red mana, though, for Flaring Pain. And since they're not walls, they don't have Caretaker. They could have Birchlaw Ranger, or their sideboard shenanigans could also be including a red land. That's okay. We'll see what's up here. Yeah, this hand's fine. No artifact lands, which is actually nice. And we have the Moxite Strands again, which, again, I'm not really expecting to be as incredible as it was last time. But, I mean, if we get a Snacker, I'll discard that instead. Get the beatdown going. Although, I guess if they do a Priest of Titania, just like I removed it a million times last time, I might have to just like Journey to Nowhere it. Cycle Generous Ant for a forest. There's the Priest. Bolt. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I mean, Priest is just so good. I'm pretty sure we're just killing that. I mean, Electrickery, I guess, would have been an even better draw, but I'm not complaining. You know what they say. Bolt the Priest of Titania. There's a Llanowar Elves. Arbor Elf untaps. They play another Priest. Electrickery now. Oh, that'd be so hot. Okay. I guess I could Journey it. I guess Journey is kind of bad against Masked Vandal. They just get it right back. It does prevent them from tapping out. We saw Avenging Hunters and stuff. So if they Avenging Hunter, I guess if we play a flyer, it's not as bad if they Avenging Hunter. They could also just have Lead the Stampedes and stuff. I think taking away 3 mana is pretty good. So we will do that. It could be even more, obviously, if they have Aquarian Ranger in hand. But we'll see if they just Vandal it away. Cycle a Generous Ant. Tangled Islet. See, that's exactly what I was expecting. There's the Vandal. So now they can have blue mana from the Arbor Elf, which I assume will be for like Hydroblast or something like that. Could just be Dispels and stuff. I know that's pretty common as well, but untap this. Alright, we're going to cast a Moxite. We'll see if it gets Hydroblasted. It did. I was not prepared for this. I don't think I want to Glinthawk a Clue. I mean, they don't have... If their last card is just like a Lead the Stampede, they're going to have a million cards in hand, and we need to have the value of the clues, I think, rather than getting like a random 2/2 down that's a very slow clock. There's the lead. Priest, Quirion, Arbor Elf, and they are playing Hydra. Yep. So they have a million mana, as anticipated. Arbor Elf, tap, untap. I kind of assume it's like a Spy Elves that can morph into just regular elves, kind of. Which Strands is still going to be good against. If I could find a Thraben Charm that can blow up the Hydra. I definitely have outs here. That's a big guy. We're going to take 12. Glint Hawk. Well, now I just got to leave up Strands. Wildling. Yup, pretty good. I mean, it's not the best thing ever, but it's fun. Play their Priest, or they're holding it in case I wipe the board, which makes sense, I think. Prismatic. Another Prismatic Strands. I kind of think I just hold that up, just because it fits into our mana better currently. To just cast another Strands, and then I can have 2 of them that are just chilling there. Oh snap, I was just saying to Homeboy the other day that there's no dragons in Pauper. There are a couple. This is the newest, best one. Then Avenging Hunter is a dragon as well. But those are 2 of the main ones that are played. There are a lot of others that are like sideboard or very niche decks, but not the best ever. They have another Hydra, it appears. I was touting Breath Weapon as the bee's knees for board wiping. Oh, it still is. I think it's Breath Weapon or Fiery Cannonade, which hits non-pirates, but there are pirates in the most aggressive deck in the format, which is, Red Rally, Goblin Tomb Raider being a pirate. So I think it's a lot more important that your board wipe hits that guy than hitting like this random 5 drop that isn't cast that often for its, actual cost. All right. We're not in a great spot, but we can draw with the clue. We have Prismatic Strands for 2 free turns. If we were just hitting lands instead of getting all these stupid birds and skyfishers, we'd be okay. Fairy Macabre. Well, it's nice they didn't have that before, but that does eat one of our draws, or one of our turns. Kabira Crossroads. We really needed an untapped land and a Thraben Charm, so I don't think we're getting there now. Relic. Yeah, they got us. I mean, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. I mean, I don't think we're switching anything, even though they're clearly going like, trying to lean more elves or more the other way. Strands is still good, and I don't think there's anything I'd rather. I guess Dawnbringer Cleric blows up a Hydra, so maybe I bring that in. I mean, the Strands weren't doing us tons of good. Maybe I'll cut one of them. I don't know. Funnily enough, opponent enchanting exactly Masked Vandal is good because we can't Breath Weapon in response, it being a dragon. Good for them, I mean. Yes, that is true. We're probably not going to be Breath Weaponing it anyway, but in general, you're right about that. All right, well, we have Relic and we have Electrickery. We really need a Moxite or Bitter Reunion to like discard the Snacker and or Strands, but otherwise the hand's decent. They mulligan to 5, which helps a little bit. Relic. Even if they aren't going for Spy as much now, the Relic can be good against Masked Vandal, keeping our artifacts around. Still good for that reason. They're going to pass. Dawnbringer is fine, but not really something I'm just going to run out here for no reason. Cycle of Generous Ent. We'll pitch that to exile immediately. Land Grant. So what do they got? Llanowar Elves. Priest. Lead the Stampede. Masked Vandal. Sure. Not this forest, because then they couldn't have cast the Land Grant for free. Alright, Llanowar Elves. I think we're saving the Electrickery to hit both Elves and Priest, ideally. I think I do want to get down a Skyfisher, though. Just having something, some form of pressure attacking them is good/important. I mean, it's a 10-turn clock, but at least it's, not an infinite turn clock. We have another Land Grant, revealing the same 3 cards we knew about before. There's a Tangled Islet, Lead the Stampede, Fairy Macabre, Arbor Elf, Quirion, Nyxborn. It's pretty good. So they have 5 mana here, maybe more with like a Quirion Ranger. They just got the Fairy Macabre, which is really annoying, so I could go for a Snacker with the Bitter Reunion, but they're gonna obviously just pull it out, which I guess is fine. That means the Strands might be better, might be fine later. I mean, ideally they just cast like Priest, Quirion, Arbor Elf, and we get to Electrickery everything. Not really counting on that. If I go for a Bitter Reunion, discard the Snacker, and I don't hit an untapped land, then I can't hold up the Cracking of the Relic. And then when they discard the Fairy Macabre, it's going to turn on the Vandal, exile Relic or something, because it's not the end of the world. I think I'm just going to pass here. I mean, if they do just cast all of their elves that then die to Electrickery, like, we're in a crazy good spot. Not necessarily expecting them to be that cavalier about it, though. There is an Arbor Elf, though. And if they cast, like, a mini Hydra, then I can Dawnbringer Cleric it. I mean, I don't know if I even care to blow up a small one, but I mean, I'd probably just Electrickery these 3. That's still pretty decent value. They still have a Priest and a Quirion, but I have a Galvanic for one of those, especially if they're about to enchant one with a Hydra. They're just casting it regular style. Sure. Just to have a blocker. This is still a lot of mana. They have, it's not the most ever. Kind of think I'm just going to wait longer. I might be getting greedy, but another Galvanic Blast. Same predicament, and I mean, I chose that by holding up the Electrickery, but now I have, like, Bitter Reunion, Dawnbringer Cleric, Electrickery I all want to have mana for. If I get rid of the Relic, it's not the end of the world, I guess. I kind of need to hit land drops at this point. Alright, we're just going to go for it. Best draw would be a Mountain, and whatever else. Discard the Snacker. No Mountain. They obviously use the Macabre. Pass the turn. I mean, yeah, they get to Vandal away if they want a Relic. That's fine. If they don't draw Lead the Stampede or Winding Way, then we're kind of not in the worst spot ever. There's the Vandal. They go for the Bitter Reunion. That's also fine. That tells me they really don't care about the graveyard, so I really don't think they're Spy at this point. I assume it was sided out. Priest, no Corian though. Oh, they're going to attack with what? They trying to just attack with the Hydra or attack with nothing? I don't know. Okay, attack with nothing. There's a Journey. Well, I'm going to go for the Electricity. We're getting 4 for 1. Seems like a pretty good deal. Nice. And then we have... we need lands so that we can cast more than one spell a turn, but we have removal to clear everything else. We're just going to be doing it very slowly. There's the Quirion Ranger. Untap a Forest and replay it for a Wildling. Yeah. Swing with the Hydra. Just one untapped land would let me blow this up and bolt this. Okay, it's a land. I guess we'll take it. I could Journey the Wildling so that I could attack. We don't have the best race on them, but it's something. And I'm playing a 2-drop for sure. So it's either that or I blow up the Hydra, but it's the same amount of damage and it lets me get in for 2 this turn. I guess it's worse to a Masked Vandal. But I also might want the Dawnbringer for a Nyxborn later, a bigger one. Actually, if I attack with the Skyfisher, then I'm taking damage from these 2 as well. And I could lose that race. Like, based on my hand, I should not lose this game. So let's not let them get free damage on us for no reason. I think that sounds good. I still think it's fine to Journey the Wildling here, though. Again, Vandal would be an fortunate draw for them. They're swinging for 3. Untap and play. That deck list is not quite the right one. Croissant. Was what I was playing earlier. This is the one we're playing now, with maybe a couple minor changes. All right, they got another Wildling. That's fine. They didn't attack with this guy. Okay. Or no, they did, but then they untapped it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we made a couple minor tweaks, but this is the list that we built off of. All right, so I could just bolt Dawnbringer, hold up Galvanic, and that way, well, if we hold up a Galvanic Blast and they get the Hydra right now, they get to buff the Vandal. I could always Skyfisher back the Dawnbringer, actually. Okay, that seals it. So let's do that. Bolt this. Dawnbringer, blow up the Hydra, and now I have a blocker, so they can't attack, so I can attack for 2. Hold up a Galvanic Blast. Also hold up a Relic Crack if I need that for like a Masked Vandal. I think we're in a good spot here. They play a Forest. Generset. That'd be a good one. Or it's a Hydra, which would be better for me. It looks like a Hydra, actually. Just casting it? Oh, perfect. If they enchanted, it'd be smaller, but then they'd be able to attack this turn, and I'd lose some valuable damage. Or I would take some damage. But we're just gonna kill creatures, I think, here. Oh, Thraben Charm. Perfect. I think I'd still rather bounce the Dawnbringer here, because I get down the Skyfisher, and Thraben Charm's just good for other uses. Blow up that Hydra. Exile, and swing for 2. Alright, they got a top deck. Something pretty good. It would be probably a Lead the Stampede or a Winding Way. It was a Forest. Perfect. Another Prismatic. Man, we missed so many land drops, but we're doing okay. Lembas, perfect. I'll take just about any land. I mean, we're actually running out of things to do at this point, so maybe land isn't as necessary, but we're okay. We've also only got 2 artifacts, so Galvanic Blast, not quite the best thing ever, but there's an Arbor Elf, another Skyfisher, swing for 4, bounce the Lembas, replay that. Hawk seems good. They found Generset, yep. But now I can Thraben Charm it. They get their food token. Sneaky Snacker. Blow this guy up, attack for 6. Glint Hawk, back a Lembas. But we'll just hold up the Galvanic Blast and we'll pass. Gingerbread Cabin. I guess they're holding on. That keeps them alive, funnily enough. Unless I can find an artifact here. That's not it, but Lembas could maybe get there. Attack for 8. Lembas. Oh, I should have left up the red mana, because also if I just find a bolt or something. Alright, Great Furnace is going to do it. That's 3 artifacts. Galvanic Blast. That's part of the tech, is the Gingerbread Cabin with Quirion Ranger. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Alright, we ended up getting there. Yeah, no, I think that's cool. Definitely some sweet stuff in there. I know that this was used a little bit in like Walls combo for that same reason a while ago, so it makes sense. His list is good. I don't know if it's good against you though. Yeah. I think I had a lot of ways to fight them. Yeah, because I was not just burn, which the tech was probably for, but I also had just a lot of value. So yeah, it seems fine. But obviously, when you're playing an off-meta deck, there's not going to be. It's harder to target my exact list. But yeah, it seems sweet. All right, round 4 here. We got a pretty decent, reasonable opening hand. I mean, we want to find a snacker or something for these discard spells, but we get to play a couple Epicures, and then we have a Boros Garrison. Seems all right. Looks like we're against, I'm going to guess not the Mirror, but probably something red, or maybe definitively something red. Rally indeed. The Burning Tree into the Rally. We're going to block, take 4. I might just Galvanic Blast this Burning Tree instead of playing this Epicure. I think that's probably better. Garrison being a little awkward here. since I can't place anything else down. They have a Great Furnace, Epicure, hoping for no Bushwhacker. Discarding a mountain with the blood, that's a good sign. Swing for 2, pick up a mountain. So we're going to play the Moxite here and Glinthawk. Pitch in this mountain, I suppose. We'll probably hit another land. Perfect. Glinthawk, pick up the Moxite and pass. They have a Reckless Impulse, which hits Synth and a mountain. They might not want to play the Synth this turn, because if they hit any 2-drop, they will waste it. They're going to swing, throwing away a creature for 2 damage, or maybe they have like a End the Festivities or something. There it is. Finish off the Glinthawk. We get another Moxite, though. So let me play that, pitching Bitter Reunion, and then we have Epicure, Glinthawk for blockers, pick up Moxite. They're going to pitch a mountain with their blood token. So Synth and 2 unknowns. Synth into another land. It's good for us. Bolt the Glinthawk, swing in, we'll trade, go down to 8. Snacker would be a great draw, so I can just get something for free. Well, Glinthawk is not bad either. We'll just Moxite away another Moxite here. And then the next Moxite will be for lands. Looks like. Glinthawk to bring this back. I could Journey to Nowhere this Human Soldier. I think I'd rather save the Journey for the Samurai that's probably going to come down. So let's just cast this, pitch a Plains. We get Rally the Peasants, not really the most effective here. They bolt the Glinthawk, which certainly could have been a reason to get rid of the Human Soldier with the Journey. I did think about that, but I still think this is probably better. Okay, they get a Fire Blast off the top, plenty of lands to cast it, so I guess that puts us to 3. Bolt would kill us. There we are, and they pass. Skyfisher for the Moxite, Journey for the Samurai, and I'm just going to play the Crag to get out of bolt range. They have a Percussionist. Don't swing. I'm going to discard this. Rally the Peasants. The land might be the right call, but if I don't get another land with my draws, I probably will want to have one. Well, Radiant Fountain's not a bad one to play, though. Play that. Gonna Moxite this Great Furnace now. Skyfisher. Play an Inspector. Play a Skyfisher. Just gonna pick up the Radiant Fountain, I think. Seems the safest. And pass. There's a Tomb Raider. Can't really attack, though. Oh, they disagree. I can just take 1 here. I could Galvanic Blast this, but I think I'm fine taking 1. The last card cannot deal me 5, and then we get to play a Radiant Fountain to gain life. And we get to hold up Prismatic. Well, that's perfect. Discard this Plains. Journey to Nowhere. That's also a great answer to this Percussionist. Let's just cast that. Take this away. Hold up Prismatic Strands. And we should be okay. Alright, got that game. Electrickery and Compass. Not this Relic. Dawnbringer gains life and blocks. And Prismatic Strands is fine too. Get rid of Rally and the Journeys. I want the cheap removal, the blockers, Lembas. Oh, Thraben Charm can go. Alright. Sand seems alright. Some early creatures, some early interaction, and some life gain. Epicure to start. We get an Epicure. I think I'll just go with the Inspector because it blocks better. So if they have Burning Tree Rally, then I can block and keep my guy around. Could also just hold up Galvanic Blast, but I think I'd rather do it this way. Kick a Bushwhacker. Okay. So I have the choice of blocking, losing my guy, or I could keep it for later, and if they don't have another Bushwhacker, then it probably gets to block nicely. I think it probably makes sense to just block. If they're doing this early, they don't have Rally, they don't have Burning Tree, they probably have more Bushwhackers, well, potentially, and I guess we'll just Lembas here. Could hold up a Galvanic, but it's not super efficient. This can help me find my land, and obviously gains life later. Skyfisher's good, but just not what we need. There we go. They do have a Rally at the Hornburg. Could have been a top deck. Just seems weird to me if they had them both that they would do it in that order. Glinthawk's good though. This way I can play Epicure, Glinthawk back to Lembas, so we have 2 blockers, and play my land. Pick up the Lembas. They bolt the Glinthawk and kick a Bushwhacker. So we're down to 9 here, but they only have 1 card in hand, which is pretty good. Another mountain. So I think I just play Skyfisher, pick up this blood token, and then I can hold up double Galvanic or Clue. This is probably the safest against another Bushwhacker or Rally or something. Reckless Impulse. Hits double Clockwork. They have the Bolt, so 2 Clockworks coming down next turn. I mean, I wish I had found an Electrickery, but we're gonna use these to pick off 2 of these guys. Try to survive here. Crag. Play a Lembas. Inspector's a nice draw. Just have a blocker. Play the Crag. They play both Percussionists. Just swing with those guys. I mean, we might as well block. 2 damage is too much to take every turn anyway, so we'll see what they get out of it. Bushwhacker for next turn. Epicure is a blocker, so I don't really want to discard that. So I think I'll crack a Clue. That's a great draw. So now I get to play Epicure hold up Electrickery for when they go for the Bushwhacker. They're going to discard their last card, a Great Furnace. There's the Bushwhacker. Go to attacks. We're just going to cast with Overload. I could like trade off 2 of these guys and then hold it for later, but that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Burning Tree. Synthesizer. Finding a Mountain. Inspector. That doesn't seem like a great discard either. Another Moxite. Alright, I think I'm just going to Inspector. They have a Burning Tree coming. That's it. Well, obviously they have 2 other cards, but I'm going to swing. I mean, they could have a Rally or whatever right behind the Burning Tree, and that would suck, but I still can block one of the 1/1s. They sack the Synth. I guess they probably have a Mountain in hand, but that's crazy. Why wouldn't they just play the Burning Tree and then use the mana to crack the Synth? Great Furnace. There's the Burning Tree. And then they waste the mana. Yeah, they could be holding up 2 mana, which could be irrelevant, but at least would make me think. We'll crack the clue here. Overload of Tormenting Voice cards. Discard one of these. Dawnbringer Cleric. That's good, because that's a blocker. So I can actually... Let's get down Skyfisher first, and then Dawnbringer. So I can pick this up. This gets more creatures down quicker. I maybe should have just saved it to gain 2 life extra next turn with the Dawnbringer. But I don't know. This way I can start attacking with the Skyfisher, I suppose. Suplex the Dawnbringer. Okay. I'm good with that. Crag. I don't mind the land, and I like the life gain, so I think I'm just going to discard the Moxite. Well, no, that's crazy. We have more life gain lands. Oh, there's a Snacker. Okay, so I can hold up Prismatic Strands, which is more likely to be useful if I attack here, I guess. And we can also just hold up Robot, Tomb Raider, Rally. The annoying thing is that they are a red deck with white creatures, and we're a red-white deck. So Prismatic's actually super awkward. So I think I want to block these, because I get those for free. Block here, and then prevent damage from red sources, which prevents our epic here, but that's fine. Another Snacker. Oh, okay, so I can discard the first one to the blood token, and then they'll both come back with the Moxite. Nice. And we'll get another Prismatic and Galvanic Blast. Perfect. So I attack for 2. Next turn, I can attack for 4. No, let's just pass. Next turn, I can attack for 6 with the Flyers, or just 4 and then 6 with the Galvanic. I don't know. We I think, should have them cooked a million ways here. Let's crack the Moxite for a Robot. Ancient Den. Swing with these guys. They just take it. I'll just pass. I have double or really triple Prismatic Strands, and then attack for lethal in the air. We have a Galvanic Blast as well. Should be enough. They get a Galvanic Blast, and they give us the GG, so pretty good showing for us. All right, and this hand looks decent enough. Turn 2 Lembas, bring it back with the Skyfisher, and we're against some not mono red, Rakdos Madness. This hand is pretty decent against that with the Prismatic and Lembas and the Flyers. Garrison is actually pretty decent. We need to hit our land drops. Next turn I can just go like Skyfisher, pick up Lembas, play Garrison, so we'll keep that one. There's a Vampire's Kiss, Skyfisher on the Lembas. Could just play an Inspector, but I think we want to get the Garrison down. And we have an untapped land. I actually will pick up the Crag to gain the extra life here, since we can probably fit it into our schedule whenever we're able to. Like I could go Lembas, Glint Hawk, and then Crag. They plot a Highway Robbery. Another Prismatic Strands. I should probably leave those up pretty soon, but I need to have stuff to do with my mana if I don't use it, like Clues and Lembas, so I guess it might be a bit still. But if they go for like a grab the prize Fiery Temper, I'd very much like to have Strands up. Lembas, Thraben Charm. You can get the Graveyard, but we already have Snackers covered a little bit with Strands and Glint Hawk, so let's get rid of that. We get our own Snacker. Glint Hawk, Lembas, play the Crag, swing for 2, cast a Robbery, discarding a Kitchen Imp. I assume the Glint Hawk will probably eat a Bolt or something. Grab the prize, discards another Kitchen Imp. Okay, I guess we'll just trade. I could take 4 and then just hold up double Strands next turn and like eat their guys. Don't think I want to take the extra damage though. Another Snacker. Let's go for a Lembas. Third Snacker. Snackers in this high density would be great if we could find a Moxite or something. Galvanic Blast. Okay. I can hold up Prismatic Strands, and if I don't end up using it, I can use Galvanic Blast and Lembas. So that's something. Blood Token discards Fiery Temper. I'm going to wait till they actually cast it, and then I'll Strands. I assume they're going for the Skyfisher. They could just have another Bolt to kill the Skyfisher in response, another Fiery Temper. Yep. In which case, I'll just prevent damage from black sources, so the Kitchen Imp can't hit us. So not a huge waste, but a bit annoying for sure. They're at 7 cards in hand. That's the tough part about Rakdos Madness. They just always have cards in hand. Attack for 2 to send a message. No damage dealt. Play an Inspector. That gives us Metalcraft. I don't really want to Galvanic Blast them. I'm just going to crack the clue. We lose Metalcraft, but that's okay. Well, it's a lot of burn. I'm just going to hold up the burn spells in case they have like another Kitchen Imp. If not, that's probably fine. Blast this guy. Vampire's Kiss. Epicure. Another Epicure. Don't really want to strands the damage from an Epicure, but it is adding up. I'm going to bolt one of these guys and just... We're not drawing what we need. We need like a Moxite. I'm going to crack this Lembas to gain some life. Garrison back the Crag. I don't think they're going to have that many other creatures. I guess Journey to Nowhere would be really nice for a snacker, but I'm just going to take out this Epicure. Although I think attacking with the Inspector is kind of a mistake, because then I lose out on the prismatic strands from the graveyard, which could be relevant. Not against an Alms of the Vein, though. There's a Kitchen Imp. At least I have the bolt for it. Ugh, this is the annoying part. I don't know, should I prismatic strands 2 damage from a grab the prize? I have another prismatic in hand, and we kind of need to survive, so I guess I will, but really not. I like to get 3 or more out of it. Oh, and that was a mistake. Now the lightning bolt doesn't deal damage. I was going to take out the Kitchen Imp. So now, by not taking 2 damage there, I'm taking 2 damage from the Kitchen Imp. So I was supposed to bolt in response. That's kind of annoying. Pretty big mistake. Alright, they play an Epicure and we prevent that damage. I guess we got a little bit back. There's a reunion finally. Pitch a snacker. If we'd had snackers a million years ago, I think we'd be fine, but as is, we're kind of dying. Crag, and we're going to pass, hold up our burn spells and our strands. Swing with the Kitchen Imp, we're just going to blast it. We have a Sazakep's Brew. Discard a Gorge to draw 2, and a Grab the Prize with a Faithless Looting. I guess I'm going to strands the Grab the Prize. Skyfisher can pick up Reunion. Replay that, get a snacker down. I think I want to get the Lembas off, though, here to gain some life. Let's do that in response here in case we can find another one. Not a Mountain. Spectre. Skyfisher, pick up Reunion, and Spectre, and then we can swing with these two since I'm holding up Prismatic Strands with these other guys. Pass the turn. They have a Bolt on the end step. I guess we'll take it. They have another Bolt. I guess we'll prevent that. If I just take this and then they have like Alms of the Vein or other black life loss spells, I'm not going to be able to stop that because it's not damage, so I will absorb one of those. You got a Faithless Looting, pitch a Snacker and a Mountain, Vampire's Kiss, Million Blood Tokens, only 1 card in hand, Jagged Barons, no cards in hand. Okay, they get to churn through whatever they draw to find some good stuff, but we can maybe be okay. Let's Bitter Reunion the Snacker, Inspector, swing for 6. We have Metalcraft right now, just barely, but I want to crack a clue, so I'm going to Galvanic Blast them, crack a clue. Thraben Charm gets rid of Snacker. They also have a Faithless Looting in their yard, 2 Faithless Lootings. Yeah, we're just going to exile their graveyard so that they just are top decking here, which they could still kill us if they just find like... Even if this is a land, they discard and then they can find like a Alms of the Vein or whatever into another one. Robbery is a nice draw. Draw 2. Sack a land. Vampire's Kiss. We're down to 4. Kitchen Imp down to 2. Because we didn't leave back a blocker for that, which... I mean, we'd already seen 2 Kitchen Imps. 3. We'd already seen 3 of them, so I think that's fair. But we'll see if we die to a Bolt or whatever. Epicure puts us to 1. I guess a Rally the Peasants I took out, so that's not going to get us there. If I can find a Lembas, I can gain some life. I don't think this Bolt is doing us that much good, so I'm going to play this. I could crack the Clue and then discard whatever I draw off that, but this saves us more mana for what we find. Fountain. Gains us some life. Okay. Crack a clue. Oh, we do have Rally. Is this only game 1? Oh, yeah. Last game we had pulled it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 7, 15. So if we attack with everything and they have to chump block 2 Inspectors. And if they don't, they die to Rally. And that just seems like a weird thing for them to do. Unless they think about Rally specifically. This does open us up to dying to a Kitchen Imp. Or not dying, but taking 2 damage off of him and dying to a Jagged Barons or something. They do block 2 Inspectors. I mean, I guess it makes sense if they think that, oh, this is one of the things I could die to here. We'd already played a land, so I couldn't play and flash it back. They're thinking about it. I hope they pull one of these back, but not counting on it. This is definitely a Hail Mary. Maybe I should have just attacked... Oh, they don't block. Maybe I should have like left back a Skyfisher, but they don't end up blocking, and that's going to get us the game. Whew. I don't know why I thought that was post-sideboard, but yeah, them not blocking there saved us big time. Okay, so we get Compass, Relic, Dawnbringer, Thraben, and Strands. Rally did pull it out there, but I think generally when we're going to be slower, we don't want it. Probably pitch the Epicures. I do love me a Rally the Peasants. Ugh, a lot of great cards here. 4 life gain cards, but it's a 1-lander. And I think if we stall on mana, we just die. 0-lander, nice. This one's not great either, but I guess we'll keep. Get rid of Bitter Reunion and get rid of... I want the Radiant Fountain, but I need my colors of mana, obviously. Thraben Charm might just be... They said, dang, nice play. I was only checking if I was dead to double Galvanic Blast. That makes sense. And Thraben Charm is going to be... good. I guess I have to get rid of the fountain. I can't get rid of one of my colors. Thraben Charm could just be too late for like a snacker. I mean, it will be, obviously, for a turn 2 snacker here, but I could Galvanic Blast it and then hold up Thraben Charm for the following turn, if that's what they have. There's a robbery and the snacker. Yeah, we're just gonna pick it off instantly, I think. Another Thraben Charm. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. We'll take out the snacker no matter what here. I wish that I could play one of these, but if they go for like another, I mean, they might expect a Thraben Charm in this situation. If they go for like a Faithless or another discard draw 2 that pitches another snacker, maybe I could catch 2 of them. They discard Alms of the Vein. So I'll blow up their graveyard. We're going to take 3 here. Snacker would be a nice draw. Okay, we hit our land drop at least. Let's Lembas. Garrison. I guess I can Crag this turn. The next turn I can Garrison, discard the land to the Moxite. Sure, that seems okay. This puts us to 4 mana while also giving us a card to discard to the Moxite. Obviously, we prefer a snacker, but don't have that. Sazakep's Brew, discarding a Fiery Temper. Cardinarium picks up a mountain, and we just have an Ancient Den. Well, we're just going to discard the Ancient Den here. I kind of want to pick up the Crag because it can gain us more life, but this way allows us to play like an Inspector, or, you know, any 1-drop we draw. Pick this up. Look at us. 2 bounce land fiends. Vampire's Kiss, down to 12, and just hard cast an Alms of the Vein. I don't know why they do that rather than just use a blood token, which draws them a new card. That's kind of weird. But I think we're just cracking a Lembas here. Try to survive. I can hold up Thraben Charm or Clue, or Lightning Bolt if I need that. There's a Faithless. Discard a snacker, cast an Alms of the Vein. Yep, down to 10. Plot a robbery, play a Barons, crack a Clue. So I would like to exile their graveyard, probably. Let's play a Lembas, though. Untapped land would be decent, so I could just crack the Lembas and have the Charm. I guess I could Skyfisher back a land here. I mean, we're so close to dead that I am worried. I just want to do this so they won't Faithless Looting, because if they do, that's a lot of value for them. Obviously, if they have another snacker in hand or whatever that they get to discard, that's something I miss out on a little bit, but that's okay. There's the robbery. Discards a mountain. Little flooded, it seems. Blood token discards a mountain again. Grab the prize, discard Extract a Confession. Barons down to 6. And they pass. Okay. Well, we're definitely going to Lembas. Let's Moxite, discard this Bolt. Kabir Crossroads, that's nice. Sack a Lembas, go up to 11. Glint Hawk picks up a Moxite. Okay, we weren't dead at 6 on their 3 mana, so hopefully we're not dead at 11 here. Another grab the prize, but discards a mountain, so no damage. Faithless Looting. Discards a mountain and a swamp. Yeah, they've just seen a ton of lands. There's an Epicure and a Barons. Full play set of Barons. Nice. Exodia unlocked. Let's play an Inspector, crack a Clue, play a Skyfisher, pick up this Crossroads, gain 2 more life, swing for 5, play another Inspector, and now we're again at the point where I wish that I had a Rally the Peasants. This time I really did take it out of the deck, but I think that's the right call. They bolt us, discard and Extract a Confession. They're just looking for burn, which is fair. We're looking for Lembases or Dawnbringer Cleric, another Skyfisher to pick up the Crossroads. Honestly, I picked up this Moxite with the first Skyfisher. I maybe should have just picked up the Crossroads again. Grab the prize, discards a Vampire's Kiss. Flashback Faithless Looting. Thought I just exiled this graveyard. It's enormous. Discard a Kitchen Imp. We have a blocker for that, and an Epicure, so they have 2 spells in hand. Because at this point in the game, they're not keeping a land over an Epicure, unless it's like, you know, perfect mana to kill us or whatever. Lightning Bolt. Okay, we're alive at 3. Moxite the Snacker. Radiant Fountain. Okay. Gain some life. Moxite the Great Furnace. Prismatic. Perfect. Okay, we have a shot here. We get to... I can't swing with the Inspectors unless I want to bolt the Kitchen Imp, but I want to hold that Prismatic, so let's just swing for 4 here. They block the Glint Hawk. Yeah, I guess maybe I should have just swung with the Skyfisher. The 2 Skyfishers left back the Glint Hawk, but that's okay. I think their goal is is, oh, we'll just burn them out, which they can, because I cannot prevent this. I hope they don't have Alms of the Vein. Fiery Temper. Okay, that's not going to do it. Wait for them to cast it. Going at us. Oh, weird. All right, Prismatic Strands prevent all red damage. If they still just find an Alms of the Vein, we'll die. But here's hoping they won't, and then we can maybe find... I guess we only have like one extra draw, but hopefully we can find... What are we looking for again? Lembas? Skyfisher? Snacker's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they go to 13, 8. Then next turn I could crack a Moxite, attack for 12 with a lightning bolt. Okay, if we can dodge one more turn, we can probably survive. They're gonna block this time, fearing the Rally the Peasants. They're at 14 then. Blood token, they have a Fiery Temper, so I can survive it with the Prismatic Strands, but that means I'm dead to any bolt or anything they draw, because I'm not going to have this up for their turn, and I couldn't gain any life. They have this draw and the next. If they don't kill us, we can kill them though. Grab the Prize, Kitchen Imp. That does not quite do it, because we have a bolt for the Kitchen Imp, but if they draw anything here, we'll die. So we're going to bolt the Kitchen Imp, although this means we might not have lethal on them, right? Yeah, they have an Epicure, so it doesn't matter anyway. Ugh. Well, that's annoying. So close. They drew so many lands and we still almost got there. Or we still lost, rather. I feel like maybe Rally does need to stay in. Every single game, there gets to a point where I need it / want it. So I think we're going to flip on that and keep it in. Although, actually, I should keep... My ratio is getting thrown off. I was holding Snackers that I couldn't discard because I'd cut some of my discard outlets. Let's even that a little bit. Yeah, this hand's okay. We have some life gain. We need to find some Lembas, some Moxites and stuff, but we have a relic from turn 1 if I want it, which I could. If they go with like a Faithless Looting right away, it could start eating those cards. I'd probably just start with the Crag though. They Barons, Thraben Charm. So we're gonna just Relic and hold it up. Then I can start doing like Cleric, then Skyfisher. They play a Razortrap Gorge. Dawnbringer, gain 2. Grab the Prize with the Kitchen Imp. Cast that. Eat the Grab the Prize. Blast the Imp. Snacker. Skyfisher, pick up the Cleric. I'm just trying to gain life here. I feel like we gained so much life last game and still didn't get there. Vampire's Kiss, pass. Exile from their grave, play a Cleric, gain 2. Crag, go back up above 20. I'm gonna attack with the Skyfisher. If they have another Kitchen Imp, then they're gonna be able to get in, but it looks like they might Fiery Temper the Skyfisher here. Yeah, that's fine, I suppose. Grab the Prize, discarding a Faithless Looting. That's fine. Sazakep's Brew, discarding Kitchen Imp. Okay. Swing for 2. Ugh, I'm just drawing nothing here. Faithless Looting is a real card. Pretty good one from their grave, so I think I'm just going to crack this. Hope I can get something of relevance. Glint Hawk, not really super relevant on this board, but I guess it blocks the Kitchen Imp, so we'll play it. Bolt the Glint Hawk. In response, I'm going to Thraben Charm the Kitchen Imp, so that because if I let this resolve and then went for the Thraben Charm, they could kill the Cleric in response and the Imp would survive. But now I don't have a Graveyard Hate spell, so if they discard a Snacker, they're going to get it right back. They discard a Mountain, though. Jagged Barons. Vampire's Kiss. Moxite's a good draw. Let's do that. Discard Snacker. Lembas is a great draw. Play that. Moxite again. Sure. I can just turn this mountain into new cards. I'm going to crack the Lembas here. Not because I necessarily think they can kill me from 14, although it's possible, but because if they have any exile... if they have any way to get rid of artifacts, I'd like to have sacrificed the Lembas so that they can't blow it up. They go for a Faithless Looting here, discard 2 swamps. They also blooded away a swamp. So again, they're getting a little flooded, it looks like, which to be fair should happen if they play against a deck that's very grindy like this. So, you know, maybe they're getting a little unlucky, but also just the game for them is not, they try not to have it go past turn 7 generally. So Lembas, Prismatic's a good draw. I'd rather just use that twice though, so I'm going to Moxite away a Mountain. Charm, they have a Looting Engrave. Looting's pretty good at digging them through cards. It's a lot harder when they just have blood tokens and a couple cards. I guess we're going to exile. Then we're not holding up Prismatic Strands. I guess we'll wait. I'm sure they'll probably use the Looting, but maybe we can catch a Snacker this way or something. Another Epicure. I'm just going to pass. Crack a Moxite for a Robot. Another Snacker. Let's crack a Clue token. See if I get like a Moxite or something. Well, we could, if that's what we want. Swing with the robot and the snacker here. Double block the robot. I'm good with that. Skyfisher, back the Moxite. How dangerous do I want to be here? I mean, I already tapped out of Prismatic Strands, so what does Thraben Charm matter at this point? I mean, this is living life super on the edge. We could definitely die here, because they could just, like, Blood Token, chain a couple spells, and cast, like, 2 Fiery Tempers, Realms of the Vein on the end step, and then even find another more on their turn. Luckily, we found a Radiant Fountain, so it pays off minorly, but we could still definitely die here. They bolt the Skyfisher, though. That is a very good sign. Blood Token pitches a Snacker, so we're going to whiff on the Snacker because of the Thraben Charm, or because we didn't leave up Thraben Charm, but into a Highway Robbery, that's pretty good. Sack a land, Carnarium, back an untapped land, I guess so they can pitch it to a Blood Token, cast an Inspector, crack the Clue right away. Compass, that's a great draw, just gain a little bit more life. And we're going to swing, leave back 1 Snacker. If they want to bolt it or whatever, that's perfect, so then I can still just Galvanic Blast the Snacker. I also just have Strands available. They don't block or attack or anything. I think we're going to play it safe at this point. I could crack the Moxite, which I probably should, but I think we're just going to win this one now. I'm going to swing with everybody because they're going to be scared about the Rally the Peasants and probably block. Even if they're not, we're kind of just winning here. They might even bolt another guy. No, they go to 9. That's fine. Pass the turn. They could get back the Snacker this turn with the Blood Tokens, which honestly I would love. Oh, they're discarding another Snacker. They're definitely going to go for it. And I'm going to like that because I can Thraben Charm to blow up the entire graveyard, which even gets rid of the Faithless Looting. You, of course, want to wait until this triggers, because if they don't, they could crack another Blood in response. But blowing up the graveyard is big work here. Massive. And we're holding up Strands. Now it's going to be really tough for them. When we're at 18, they have to find pretty much all black spells to deal damage that I can't prevent with the Prismatic. Robbery, discard a mountain, play a mountain, and let's just crack this Moxite so that we can swing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a Galvanic Blast. I guess that doesn't quite kill if they have an Alms of the Vein. Kitchen Imp to block, sure. That's not going to keep him alive alone. Block the robot, go to 4, and we'll try to finish him off with the Galvanic Blast. All right, and we take that match down, going 4-1 with this Boros Moxite deck. Pretty good showing for this deck, 4-1, not bad at all. And I must say, my haphazard changes at the very beginning, I was really happy with. I think the Snackers, just 5 is not enough ways to discard. That the Voldaren Epicure Blood Token came up a lot. Is this the perfect extra cards, extra discard outlets? I don't know for sure, but they worked fine enough, and I was really happy with them several times. There were even times where I was able to Blood Token away 1 Snacker. Drawing only 1 was actually a benefit, because then we got to Moxite, bring back 2 Snackers in the same go. Whereas if all of these Epicures were just like more bitter reunions, we wouldn't have been able to actually do that trick. So that was kind of cool. And the Rally the Peasants was really good a couple of times, as we saw. So I was very happy to include that as well. Just a one of can come up at some point. You draw enough cards usually that you can get there. And Relic was pretty decent for sure. Maybe having another one in the main deck would have been good as well. But I was pretty happy with the changes that I made. I also just played a Jeskai version of this deck on the channel that I had brewed, and it definitely is a little bit worse. The Boros version is a little more streamlined, and I think, honestly, not bad at all. I think there's definitely some benefit to this over a synth-style deck. Obviously, just having Snacker is really nice, but also being able to cast 3 drops and have some more situational cards like Prismatic Strands, which I realize Lindoso sometimes plays in Boros Synth anyway. But also being able to discard those Prismatic Strands with the Moxites can be a lot of good value too. So this deck's really sweet. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.